The UK has announced £50 million in aid for Syria and has made diplomatic contact with the rebels. We're going to read into this more from the iPaper, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the iPaper with the headline that the UK has announced £50 million in aid for Syria that has made diplomatic contact with the rebels. The Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, said Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, apologies for mispronunciation, remains proscribed in Britain, but as you would expect, the government has spoken to the organisation. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So, when Britain tells you that they don't have any money or they can't afford something, just remember that they magically found £50 million here in aid for Syria at a time when they needed to cut the winter fuel payments. So I just wanted to put that out there whenever that you hear a government telling you that there's no money, they find money. There's always money. So I really want to put that context out there. Now, obviously, specifically, this story is obviously more in tune with what's happening in the Middle East as regards to the UK. But I do think it's important that the UK has established contact with, well, they call them rebels, but they're going to be the new administration, shall we say. Unless something implodes by the time you guys read this, it's entirely possible. I hear a lot of things since the fall of Assad, since the fall of Bashar. I've heard numerous people basically saying that Syria is going to go into a full-blown civil war again. It's all going to blow up. We don't know that. We don't know that at the time of this recording. It's possible that could happen. We know that Israel are still hitting bombardments, have been hitting targets in Syria, targeting certain chemical warfare or military sites. We know that they've been hitting targets, and we know that they've annexed, they've pushed into further territory on the Golan Heights, which they are not allowed to do, by the way, as well for reference. And we also know that they're still issues with the Kurdish and the Turkish settlements in the northeast of Syria. That's also becoming problematic as well. That still has not been resolved as well. So there is not complete and utter peace in Syria in any way, shape or form. Let's be clear about that. And the majority of factions in Syria seem to be a part of this so-called administration that is being formed right now, or is going to be formed over the next couple of months. That is what it's looking like at the moment. At the moment, that's what it's looking like. Now, will this hold? We don't know. Will there be some kind of peace and security? We don't know. Will it be a democratic country? I don't hold much hope on that, because here's the thing, right? You have to understand this, is that, they've had the same family ruling in power for like 70 years. For many Syrians, many of them don't know what a democratic what is like to live in it. For many of them living in Syria throughout that period, they don't know what it's like to live in a democratic country. So it's very different kind of world to what we are in. So, and I know some people are saying that these rebels and whatnot are going to be bad. You have to remember that these people, a lot of them have been under a ruling for a very long time, have been brutal dictatorship. A lot of them have been worse off, their lives have been ruined as a result of this man and his family. So, while there's some people, we have to try and put ourselves in the shoes of Syrian people to understand how they're feeling. And, contradictory to some people who have said that there haven't been any Syrians celebrating, are we going to... I have seen Syrians celebrating the fall of him, but there are some who have just been carrying on with their lives as well. There is still much to look at and much still to step back on, but as of right now, we can only hold and hope and hope for the best for the people of Syria. And if it means that Syrians from the UK and Syrians from other parts of the world come back to the country and it helps rebuild the nation, then great. But we don't know for sure, as of right now, how things are going to pan out. All we can do is kind of sit back and wait. But it is good that the UK is obviously making contact and is obviously helping out those who are suffering within Syria as well, which is also, because that shows our way of helping out in the world as well. So let's read into this. So the UK has confirmed that it's made diplomatic contact with the rebel groups that control Syria. after its recent takeover of the major crisis, including the capital Damascus. So the Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, said Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, if I mispronounced the name again, I apologise, HTS, which took control of the country following a lightning offensive last week that overthrew its president, Bashar al-Assad, remains proscribed in Britain, but as you would expect, the government has spoken to the organisation. Lammy has also announced that Britain would be sending £50 million in humanitarian aid to support vulnerable Syrian citizens across the Middle East. And it comes as the Foreign Office announced emergency support will be delivered to people in Syria through the United Nations and NGOs and to Syrian refugees in Lebanon and Jordan. So speaking on Sunday, Lammy said we want to see a representative government and an inclusive government. We want to see chemical weapons stockpiles secured and not used. We want to ensure that there is not continuing violence. For all those reasons, using all the channels we have available and those that are diplomatic and of course intelligence-led channels, we seek to deal with the HTS where we have to. He added that yes, HTS remains a proscribed organisation, but we can have diplomatic contact, and so we have the diplomatic contact as you would expect. So the announcement comes after the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, confirmed Washington officials have been in direct contact with a group that has been designated a foreign terrorist organisation by the State Department since 2018. Britain on Saturday joined the talks with Al-Beka, hosted by Jordan and attended by ministers and delegates from the US, France, Germany, and the Arab Contact Group, Bahrain, Qatar, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, the EU, and the UN. They agreed on the importance of non-sectarian and representative governments, protecting human rights, unfettered access for humanitarian aid, and the safe destruction of chemical weapons and combating terrorism. The UK urges transitional governments to adhere to these principles to build more hopeful, secure and peaceful Syria, the Foreign Office said on Sunday. Some 120,000 of UK funding has been made available to the Organisation of Provision of Chemical Weapons, the OPCW, the department has also said. Another 30 million will be channeled within Syria for food, shelter and emergency healthcare, while 10 million will go to the World Food Programme, the WFP, in Lebanon, and 10 million to the WFP and the UN Refugee Agency, the UNHCR, in Jordan. The rebel group's current leader, Ahmed al-Shahida, has attempted to distance his movement from its terrorist past. Since the rebels seized control of Syria, Western governments have debated how to deal with HTS, which is a proscribed organisation in the UK because of its closeness to Al-Qaeda. There is also concern that a power vacuum in Syria could exacerbate regional tensions and create conditions for a so-called Islamic state group, to regain ground. Lammy said the fall of the horrific Assad regime provides a once-in-a-generation for the people a chance for the people of Syria. And we've committed to supporting the Syrian people as they chart a new course. First, by funding £50 million for new food, healthcare and aid to support the humanitarian need for vulnerable Syrians. Second, by working diplomatically to help secure better governance in Syria's future. This weekend, the UK and its partners came together to agree the principles required to support a Syrian-led transitional political process. It is vital that the future Syrian government brings together all groups to establish the stability and respect that Syrian people deserve. So Keir Starmer on Friday told a virtual meeting of the G7 leaders that the fall of Assad's brutal regime should be welcome, but we must be cautious about what comes next. In a statement on Thursday, the leaders said they were committed to working with and full support a future Syrian government that has agreed to ensure respect for the rule of law, universal human rights, including women's rights, the protection of all Syrians, including religious and ethnic minorities, transparency and accountability. That's asking a lot, from what is from this so-called establishment, this group that's going to be in control. It is asking a lot. It is still far too early to know for sure that is what they're going to be doing. It is far too early to do that. But let's hope that if that this money we're putting forward, that the UK that we're putting forward actually does help, that actually does make an impact. It may be a small impact, but let's hope it does make an impact of some sort. And I do hope that there is genuine peace and stability in Syria, because they have been oppressed for a very, very long time. And I hope it is what the people want, not so much what those with the power now have. I really hope it does come to that. But we will have to wait and see how things come about on it. But I will obviously, like I say, I'll keep an eye on it on short videos, and I'll probably discuss it more on the Rumble or the Snowflake Corner live streams as time continues to pass by. Like I said, this is something they're being very slow about. They're not rushing into some kind of dictatorship as of right now. It's not seems to be rushed from Syria. It's been very slow at the moment on that, and it does appear, most reports that I have heard, it does appear that the Russian bases that were established in there when Russia saved Bashar back in 2015, it does appear they look like they are looking to probably vacate them from most news outlets that I'm hearing, the reports that I'm hearing. But I haven't heard that directly from Russia. I haven't heard it directly from Russia or anything from them yet. But again, that could change. But what do you guys make of the situation in Syria? What do you guys make of the UK announcing £50 million in aid for Syria? Do you think there will be some kind of stability or not? Let me know your thoughts on this story and more down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or you can join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.